Hey guys, this is Axeman and we are back in Naval Action, and today I'm bringing you yet another tutorial. In this one we're going to be looking at how to sail effectively, or at least more effectively, with manual sails. If I bring the hood up here, if I would let it, there we go. We need to go over a few things before we dive into manual sails. I just need to talk about a couple of things on the ship that I'm going to be referring to that you need to know, just so we're all on the same page. First of all, if I get my mouse pointer up here, get that'll do. This is the foremast, and this is the mainmast. I'm on a two-masted snow right now. If it was a three-masted ship, it would have a mast at the back, which would be called the mizzen mast, but it doesn't, so we can't talk about that yet. So foremast, mainmast. We come across here. These are yard arms. These cross beams here, these are called yard arms. So when I refer to, let's say, the foremast yards, I'm talking about this, or the mainmast yards, I'm talking about this. Right. Obviously, hopefully you should know that the bow of the ship is the front, the stern of the ship is the rear. Port side is the left side, and starboard side is the right side. So hopefully that'll, when I start using these terms, that'll hopefully you'll know what I'm talking about in this video. Now I've just been in battle, so I've taken a little bit of damage, but I needed to get into a battle to get into a battle instance so I could show you manual sails. So let's dive in. Right now I'm sailing at full sails. See at the bottom here, we're at full sails, doing 12 knots with a tailwind, like that. Which isn't the best point of sailing for this ship. Square rig ships do better at a slight angle to the wind. But I'm just doing this just to show you the basic principles on using manual sails. So what you got to imagine when a ship is turning is that a ship turns on a central pivot, which is going to be around here on this ship, which is at the center point of mass of the ship, and that's where the ship's going to pivot around. So when you're turning and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to think to yourself, what forces do I need to apply to the ship to turn it whichever way you want on that pivot? Now you do that using your sails and your rudder, obviously. So I think of the wind as a force of push, which it is, but I imagine it pushing on the sails. So if I want to turn, let's say, to port, which is left, I will have to set my my rear mast yards right, and then the wind is pushing against that and pushing the rear of the ship around that central pivot point, and so the ship turns left. I can help the effect along by cancelling out the effect of the foremast sails by making them parallel with the wind. So it's just the mainmast sails that are doing the turning there. And obviously you've seen there that I didn't use any rudders whatsoever. That was all sails. And it turns pretty quickly. The snow is pretty manoeuvrable. Other ships will be slower at doing that, but with the snow it's pretty good. So if you get a damaged rudder in the snow, it's pretty viable just to use sails. Although preferably you wouldn't want to. So again, I'll turn the other way. So if I use the mainmast, if I turn the mainmast yards to the left, the ship's going to go right. And then I'm going to use my foremast sails, get them parallel to, or as parallel to the wind as I can as I'm turning, and then while I'm turning I'm going to turn the foremast sails with the wind just to keep it parallel so that the foremast isn't actually doing anything. Oh, gone a bit further. So you can see still turning quite effectively with no rudder. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the wind. Oh no, I'm going to go back with the wind, and what we'll do is we'll add a bit of rudder and we'll see just how quickly we can turn. So with sails and rudder and everything, the ship working as it should, or at least in game. Right, so got the wind astern again, and we're going to go left. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip if you don't know this. If you double tap A or D, that will lock the rudder in its maximum left or right position. So if I double tap A, that's going to let me set my sails without, you know, having to have spider hands that can press a million keys at once. So if I double tap A, bring the rear sail round, try and get the foremast sails as parallel to the wind as possible, and then I can just concentrate, because that rudder's set, I can just concentrate on bringing that foremast sail round, or the foremast yards round. Go back into auto. Now we've changed course, we're nearly into a headwind really, but we're travelling as quickly as we can in this direction now. So using your sails and the rudder together is super effective, and is really going to help. I should probably put it into sailing. And is really going to help your manoeuvres in combat and stuff like that. Obviously this doesn't apply to open world. Now what you might have found before you got into using manual sails is that, you know, you're fighting, you're firing off broadsides, you're concentrating on this, that and the other, you're quite new to the game and it's all overwhelming, and you've got 3 people fighting you at once, and you've got friendlies that you're manoeuvring around, and it's just a manic maelstrom of mess. Right, and you've turned, and you're using auto sails, and you're turning and you're turning and you're turning, you're losing speed and you don't know what's happening. You're firing off broadsides, you haven't even noticed that you're in a headwind now. You're aiming up, you're lining up a shot there, there's a ship there, you want to blast him into bits. And you blast him into bits and he's blasting you into bits, and it's stressful and you're excited, and you haven't noticed that, oh, sugar, we're in a bit of bother. This is what is known for a ship as being in irons. Facing a headwind, there's not much a ship can do, but I'm going to show you how to get out of it if you ever find yourself in this situation. The auto sails don't really know anything, they don't know what to do, right? So we're going to take auto sails off. One way you can do it, if you have stopped, and you will start moving backwards. If you look at the bottom there, we're actually moving backwards now. If you are moving backwards, the quickest way to get out of it then is to add a bit of speed, add some opposite rudder, right, and bring the foresail round as you turn, and then you'll slow down, get that auto sail back on so it adds your speed, you'll stop and you'll start moving forward, and now you're out of irons and you can carry on as usual. It's not the most effective way to do it. You don't really want to have stopped as you're turning into the wind, you want to keep moving through the wind. With these smaller, more manoeuvrable vessels, you can just power through, like if I just do this without any manual sails. You can just power through that sort of no man's land, or the no-go zone as it's called. And you slow down quite a lot, but you can get through it. But on bigger ships, like ships of the line and stuff like that, you really need to learn how to use manual sails, otherwise that's never going to happen. You're going to be left dead in the water and you're going to get hammered to bits by everyone around you. Right, so let's get back to our scenario. Say we're trapped here and we're doing manual sails and stuff like that. Oh no, oh, we're slowing down and we don't know what to do. Right, now it's your foremast sails that are going to be directing where the ship goes from now. So now we're really slow, so if we want to turn our ship to the left or to port, we can turn our foremast yards right, which means the wind's blowing off here like that. That's going to bring the front of the ship round. As soon as you get far, you see we're actually still moving forwards. As soon as we get far enough out of the headwind, we can set regular sails and move off, and it works exactly the same way in the other direction, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full, more than a 360. I'm going to do a full turn here. Let's use some manual sails so we're actually practicing what we preach. Right, so bringing it round. what I'm going to do is I'm going to just head on this course for a little bit just to get some speed up. See how fast we can get. Maybe 9 or 10 knots. That'll do. And I'll show you the most effective way to power through a headwind without stopping. But you've got to be aware of yourself. You've got to be aware that you're about to cross that threshold. Because if you're not aware, then how can you take action to avoid becoming chained in irons? Alright, so we're going to turn into a headwind now. Right, and as we cross the threshold, we're going to leave the fore mast sail as it is. We're going to bring the main mast sail around so it's not being affected by the wind, it's parallel. And we'll come straight around there and blast it straight through. And we're almost side on, we're doing a bit of a power slide, look at that man, Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift in a, what, 200 ton ship? Something like that. And there you go. It's not difficult once you get the hang of it. The hardest thing is implementing it into hectic battles where it's really, really difficult. And before I go, if you are one of those people that maybe has a little bit of trouble visualizing the wind and visualizing the forces acting on the ship, I'm going to give you a very, very, very basic idea on how the ship can be controlled using manual sails, but without sort of all that knowledge of forces and stuff like that. So, if we look at the compass down here, you see this is indicating the wind, obviously. Hopefully you'd know that by now. And you can see these are the sails and where they're set, right? So, if I want to turn left, I've shown you how I want to, if I want to turn to port, I set my sails like that, right? And now I'm turning left. Well, if you look, the sails are kind of forming an arrow to the left, right? Pretty nifty, huh? Right? And even if you don't bring the front sail round as you turn, you can still keep it like that arrow and it'll still turn the ship, and if you add some rudder it's still going to be pretty effective. Not as effective as being on the ball with it, but still pretty good. Right, so let's go the other way. Oh, still got rudder set. Dum dum. So we just bring it around the other way. Now obviously the wind is pushing the front of the ship round as I adjust the sails there. Right, so I'm just going to put it back to auto sail, straighten it up. And now I want to turn right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to make a right arrow with my sails, look. Right arrow there, look, and we're turning right. So you see, it's another little simple visual sort of medium of kind of knowing what you're doing with manual sailing. I mean, it is better if you can visualize the forces, so you can be a bit more dynamic with the changes of the ship and stuff like that. But you know, that might get you going. It might help you out. I hope it does. Obviously, if you're facing into the headwind, you've got to reverse everything. So if you make an arrow pointing right, your ship's going to turn left. So let's just do that now, just to prove the point. And hopefully this has helped you out a little bit with manual sails. I'm not the best at it. And some of the sailing purists, and they're probably going to crucify me for being like, "Why are you making arrows with your sails? That just makes no sense. Why are you talking? Why are you being stupid?" Well, you know, not everyone's as into sailing as some people, so... And if you're not, then hopefully that'll help you. So what I'm going to do is I'm in a headwind now. I'm going to make an arrow pointing to the right with my sails, like so. And what do you know? I'm turning left. No rudder. Turning left, and as soon as I'm out of the headwind and at a decent angle to it, I can just go back into auto sails. I just want to say before I go, do not be ashamed to use auto sails. I use it most of the time. It's a tool to be used, and if anyone tells you you're a noob for using auto sails, well then they're just an idiot. So I hope this video has been useful to you. I hope you've learned something. I know I'm not an expert in this subject and maybe haven't explained it as well as someone else might have, but I've done my best. If I need to do any more tutorials on it to go a little bit more in depth, I will try my best. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you've got any suggestions, leave them down in the comments for what you'd like to see in the next video. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you really want to. And I'll see you in the next video. See you later.